Okay, let's talk about AI agents. That term gets thrown around all the time, right? But what does it actually mean? What does it do? Well, let's forget all the technical jargon for a minute. The best way, really, to think about this is to imagine it's not a piece of software at all. Imagine it's your newest teammate.
And that's really the heart of it. Imagine an AI teammate that, actually helps move work forward. And I'm not talking about some simple chatbot here. No way. This is about a real collaborator, something that can dig into complex stuff, like, say, managing customer renewals, and really help you get things done.
So, you might be asking, okay, but how is this any different from the automation we already have? And that's a great question. See, old school automation is super rigid. It's like a flowchart set in stone. If anything unexpected happens, poof, the whole thing just breaks. An AI agent, though, it's flexible. It's built to understand what you're trying to do, your intent, and it can adapt, all while supporting your own judgment.
And that right there brings us to the first big idea. If you're going to treat an AI like a teammate, well, you need to give it a proper job description. We're not talking about mapping out a flowchart here. It's about defining its role, its responsibilities, just like you would for any new person joining the team.
Think about the old way we did this. We try to map out every single possible step a process could take. But here's the problem. Business is messy, right? It's never that clean. So these giant, complicated flowcharts, they're incredibly brittle. The second something goes off script, they just shatter. So yeah, we have to throw that whole approach out the window. So instead of scripting every single move, you're simply describing the job. That's it. You're giving the agent a purpose. You're telling it what it needs to care about, what its main responsibilities are, and believe me, this is a huge fundamental shift in thinking. Okay, so what does a job description for an AI actually look like? Well, it's all about giving it a really narrow and clear focus. For instance, if its job is handling renewals, then its entire world is just upcoming contracts and figuring out the single best next step. That's it. It doesn't get distracted by anything else, and that laser focus, that's its superpower. All right, so we've got the job description written. Now what? How do you actually onboard this new AI teammate of yours? It really boils down to three key things: giving it the right guidance, the right tools, and, this one's super important, setting really clear boundaries. First up, you give it guidance. And we're not just talking a list of steps. We're talking about the intent behind the work. Things like be proactive, analyze the usage data, present info clearly. Next, you give it tools. And listen, these aren't new, untested things. We're talking about the trusted automations you already use and rely on. And finally, you set firm boundaries. The agent has to know its limits and know exactly when it's time to stop and loop in a human. And this point is absolutely critical, especially for trust and safety. The AI isn't going rogue here. It's not inventing new processes out of thin air. A better way to think about it is, it's not an inventor. It's more like a conductor. It's just choosing the perfect moment to use a tool that a human has already built, already tested, and already approved. And this is where those boundaries become so important. When the agent gets to a point where it has to make a decision it isn't authorized for, let's say approving a huge discount, it doesn't just guess. It hands the task off to a person. And this is key. That's not a failure. That's part of the design. That handoff is exactly what makes the whole system safe and reliable. Okay, so having a clear job and safe tools, that's the foundation. But what makes an AI agent really powerful? What gives it its superpower? It's the ability to understand the full context of pretty much any situation. I mean, think about something complex, like a contract renewal. Why do those fail so often? It's usually not because the data doesn't exist. It's because the data is scattered everywhere. It's in old notes, recent emails, customer conversations, usage data dashboards, you name it. There's no way a single person can hold all of that context in their head at once. But an AI agent can, and this is what we call grounded reasoning. Now, it's not magic. It's simply the ability to instantly connect all that scattered information, see how it all fits together, and then make a suggestion based on the actual facts. It checks the data it's allowed to check. It never, ever just guesses. So, let's pull all of these pieces together. What does it really look like to build an AI teammate you can actually trust, right from the very beginning? Well, when you really break it down, the whole process is surprisingly similar to hiring a new person. First, you explain their role with total clarity. Then, you give them access to the right approved tools. You set firm boundaries on what they can and can't do. And you make it crystal clear that you expect them to escalate things to you when they're not sure. That, right there, is the blueprint for a teammate you can really trust. So, at the end of the day, an AI agent isn't some piece of software you just switch on and walk away from. Not at all. It's a whole new kind of team member. And just like any other teammate, it's going to succeed when you give it a clear job to do, all the context it needs, and some really firm, trustworthy boundaries.
You see, this little shift in thinking, from just a tool to a teammate, it opens up so many possibilities, which really just leaves us with one final question to think about. What's that one complex, messy part of your work that a teammate like this could help you finally move forward?